shout out to everyone on Let's Talk About It. Thank you for all of you that jumped on the stream. As always, I appreciate you. Always appreciate you. These talking points are very important, even though some of us may believe they're not so important. A lot of us that don't believe it's important is because we haven't experienced the outcomes that come about as a result of the dysfunction related to the outcomes. But they are very important. I was talking to a young man earlier today, and he said something to me that was very profound. This is what he said to me. He said to me, he said, it used to take a village to raise a community. Then he said something behind it, and he said, the village is gone. The village is gone. Now, this is one of those kind of brothers that are very intelligent, and I was talking to my wife. He's very intelligent. If you ever met anyone who's extremely intelligent, but they're so intelligent, it's almost like you can sense that something is off. But if you stop and listen and not judge first, if you just listen, you'll get some stuff from individuals that are like that, which we like to call eccentric in their behavior. This young man says something that I had not even thought of. My talking points have always addressed the same problem, but not quite the way he said it in just a few words. He said it used to take a village to raise our community. He said now the village is gone. And I had to sit and think about that for a second. I'm like, wow. You know what? He's right. The village is gone. And it brought me to understand that the talking points that we have, that I have in these streams, it all speaks to the same narrative. Yeah, the village is gone. And if you look at the title tonight, can you avoid the noise, ladies, of those that think they are winning? What do I mean by that? You have social media has done a lot of good, and it has done a lot of damage. It has done a lot of good in terms of us having the ability to access information, in terms of educating ourselves about different subject titles. It's allowed us to travel all over the world by sitting right in front of our computer. This is what social media has done for us. And I'm happy about that, because I can remember when there was no such thing as a computer. I can remember when there was no such thing as a cell phone. There was no such thing as texting anybody or FaceTiming anyone. If you couldn't get to a phone booth, you couldn't talk to anybody when I was coming up. And I know many of you remember those days. But today, you can talk to whoever you want to talk to, no matter where they are, even if they're outside of the United States. You can talk to them, and not only talk to them, but you can see them in real time just from your phone. So do we appreciate technology and the advancement of technology? Absolutely we do. Oh yeah, we do. But has it helped us? Absolutely. But how has it hurt us? How has it hurt us? It's hurt us in a lot of ways. Because now all of our private business that used to be private. You remember when we were coming up, we heard a slogan that was given to us by our parents or our grandparents. They said, what goes on behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. Have you noticed with social media that whatever goes on behind closed doors, even if you're wealthy, it all becomes public? Don't you remember when we had celebrities when we were growing up? For those of you that are around my age, you remember when we were growing up, we had celebrities back then as well. We never knew what went on in their private life. We never knew. We just never knew. And as a result of that, they were allowed to flourish in their private life, and many of them who were married remained married because they didn't have the public's input. Yeah. the public's opinion. We didn't have that. They didn't have that. But what do we have today? What has social media done? What has social media done? It's created a lot of noise. A lot of noise. So much noise that this generation is actually listening to the noise. They have no room in their mind to actually relax and think for themselves because all the noise is so loud. It's so loud, telling them how to move, how to think, how to behave as it relates to themselves, how they carry themselves, how they dress, what's attractive to men, and more importantly, what they need to do as it relates to relationships. Hasn't gotten them anywhere. If we look at the numbers and the statistics, the data, the stats, we understand that social media has not helped the narrative. It's not helped the situation. In fact, it has hurt the situation. It hasn't helped it. It hasn't helped it. It's hurt the situation. So if it's hurting the situation, then what should we do as it relates to social media? I'm glad you asked because I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to say something tonight, ladies, that many of you are addicted to, like a drug addict is addicted to a drug. I'm going to say this to you. Many of you are so addicted to social media that when you open your eyes in the morning, that's the first thing you do. You grab your phone, and what do? You go to your social media platform of your choice, whatever that platform is. You're looking for what? You're looking for notifications. You're looking for messages via instant message. Facebook has been so smart, and I tip my hat off to Mark Zuckerberg because he understood what I'm saying right now. He understood the behavior of the human. He knew that if you got addicted to the platform, you'd also get addicted to the messaging platform that he would at some point attach to the actual social media platform, which later became Messenger. Then he knew that he watched, he paid attention. He's smart. He paid attention. He said, you know what? He didn't own Instagram, but what did he do? He bought Instagram. Now Instagram is connected to Facebook as well. So you can't do nothing on Facebook, you can't do nothing on Instagram, you can't do nothing on any of the social media platforms that does not connect, is not interconnected or synced to all behavior from the primary platform that you originally started with, which more than likely was Facebook. Now here's the question. What are you doing on Facebook? What are you paying attention to on Facebook? Again, the subject title tonight, can you avoid the noise, and I mean noise, loud noise, of those who think they are winning? Social media goes way beyond Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and all these other social media platforms. OnlyFans, some of you know about OnlyFans. Many of you, some of you that are listening to the stream right now might be members of OnlyFans. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe you are members of OnlyFans. But that point being said, these social media platforms are not designed for functional situations. They're all designed and they're focused at dysfunctional situations. That is how they capitalize. Why? They capitalize on your dysfunction. What could that dysfunction be? What could that dysfunction be? Okay, what is the narrative? What is the story that's being told? See, if you've watched my stream, you know exactly what I focus on. My focus on my stream is what? Family, relationships, marriage. That's it. If any of you that watch my stream are not interested in relationships, marriage, meaningful relationships, if you're not interested in that, you're probably more than likely on the wrong stream. The outcomes are the same. I've always said 3 and 4, a 1 in 4 of every black woman will die without having experienced the experience of marriage. They will not have experienced it, which means 3 of those 4 will die by themselves. Um, some of you may not like to hear that, and I promise you, I don't like to say it, but the stats, the data, and the statistics back up what I'm saying. They prove what I'm saying. You don't have to believe me. Blackdemographics.com, for black people, by black people, back up everything that I'm saying. Not only that, but the U.S. Census Bureau also backs up what I'm saying. So it's not a Charles Chandler's opinion. It's not a Let's Talk About It opinion. It is a fact. And as for some of you, if you go on Google, and I'm going to give you something else to look at as a reference. If you go on Google and you look up Japan, it's called lonely dying. If you look it up, you'll find that every day in Japan, 3 women are dying daily. And they're dying every single day. I didn't say every other week or every couple of months. I said every single day, 3 women are dying by themselves. And they're being found very late. If you know how Japan and how they live, a lot of them live on top of one another. It's a very small, condensed community, especially amongst the population that is a little less fortunate in terms of finance. They live on top of one another. They are starting to smell the bodies of dead women after a few weeks who are single. And I'm telling you, ladies, and this may sound a little graphic, but I want you to listen to me. Every 3 days they're finding this. These are women that are single, elderly, and they're by themselves. And they're dying like this, by themselves, with no one, and they're not found until someone smells the body decomposing. That's sad. They're not even being found until the body's decomposing for hours. And then when they do find them, they're finding them by themselves. Why do you think I need to say that? I need to say that because in this country, the narrative that's being painted for ladies, where you're being told through the media, through social media, and through series that's on television, that all you need to do is get the bag. All you need to do is get yourself financially in position. But they're never speaking the importance of what it means for you as a woman to have a man in your life. They're never talking about that. They're never talking about that. That's never become the important subject when they start to talk. It's always about what you need to do to get yourself in position financially, educationally, or in terms of a job or a career, to get yourself in position so that you then can secure yourself financially where you don't need to depend on a man. And you know, here's the thing. Here's the problem with that. Social media was never designed, first of all, to give you the best outcomes. It never was. Social media was designed for one reason. It was designed for them to make money. This is a capitalist government. Anybody that knows what kind of government we live in, we know that this government is based on money and money being made. This government pays attention to their bottom line. What is their bottom line? How much they're losing or how much they're gaining, meaning assets and liabilities. If they don't pay attention to assets and liabilities, then they are not doing good business. So how do they capitalize on assets and liabilities? How? They have to pay attention to the social market. They have to pay attention to what people are asking for, what people desire to have, even if it makes no sense, even if it breaks down the family structure. They're not paying attention necessarily to what's going to be the benefit in the long term. They're paying attention more to what can benefit liability or asset right now. That's what they're paying attention to. So how has the idea, by watching social media, by watching videos, by watching what you see on television in terms of relationship, does social media and television really speak to the importance of relationship? Ladies, I want you to think about what I just said. Does what you watch on TV, in terms of every program you watch, whether it's on BET or whether it's on whether it's on Stars, let's talk about it, Power, or any of these movies that you watch or these series that you watch that seem to get so much popularity and that seem to become so successful. Ask yourself the question: what do they promote? Do they promote family? Do they promote family structure? Do they promote meaningful relationship? Ask yourself the question. Some of you may not want to hear this conversation, but I want you to think. Does it promote what I'm saying? Does it? Does it promote family? Does it promote family structure? Does it promote marriage? Does it promote anything that's going to benefit the community that you currently live in right now? If we don't pay attention to what we're looking at right now, the next 20 years, our neglect to pay attention, our inability to take an important step in making a difference in what we see, in what we watch, and what we promote. If we don't do that, then we won't be able to complain in the next 20 years. Because in the next 20 years, it will be a foundational principle. They're fixing the foundation right now as we speak. The foundation is being fixed. It's not just being fixed for me, but it's being fixed for you, and it's being fixed for your granddaughter, and it's being fixed for your daughter, and it's being fixed for your any female member of your family. It's being fixed for them also. For those of you that are my age, that are within like the age bracket of like 50 or 55, you know that it was very different for us back in the day. It was very, very different. The world looked different, and the conversation was different. You know that if you're my age, the conversation has changed, and it's changed drastically, in a drastic kind of way, in a very dangerous kind of way, to where if you have children today, you have to worry all the time, especially if you have daughters. Especially if you have daughters. You have to be concerned about what is being told. Can you avoid the noise of those that think they're winning, and can you protect your daughter or your daughters or your nieces from the noise of what's being spoken today? Can you protect them from that? What is it in you that can protect them from that noise? Or have you been sold out yourself to the noise? That's a question only you can answer within yourself. Because I'll tell you something, going forward, it won't be what you didn't know. It'll always be what you heard. And one thing about information, you can never unknow what you know. Once you hear it, the responsibility then falls on you. The responsibility then falls on me. It falls on all of us once we know. Now, if we don't know, okay, fine. If we don't know, then we just simply don't know. But what happens once you know? Then you have to go back face to face with the time that you learned the information. And what did you do about it? Did you get upset because you didn't like who said it? Did you get upset because you didn't like how they said it? But how important is it for you to listen to what's being said so that you can change the conversation, change the narrative, and begin to teach your daughters or your granddaughters something different than what society is teaching them right now? They're going to watch the same videos, and the videos are going to get worse. They're going to get worse. Well, how do you know it's going to get worse, Charles? How do you know? Why? Why do I know that? Because I remember 4 or 5 years ago, we had no such thing as a video called WAP. There was no such thing. You could never make a video like that 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But now it's acceptable. Now viewing on television is acceptable in terms of what they're willing to show. Not just in late night, but in prime time. They're showing the same thing. Can you avoid the noise of those that think they're winning while they do these things right in front of your children's face, right in front of your face, and you sit there, smile and laugh and entertain what you see when you know you have children and family members that you love? How much do you love them? Exactly how much do you love them if you're not willing to block them or protect them, since they only have you as an object to protect? You're the only one they're depending on. They're depending on you. So how can you protect them? If you sold out to the same message that you see every single day, if you've sold out to the same message. I was messaging a brother recently, early this afternoon, who's on YouTube. He got blocked for community violations. Same thing I got blocked for. And he said nothing. You got to understand that the war that's in place right now with these kind of talking points to bring family members back together, to bring husband and wives back together, black people, black people, to bring us back together as families and husbands and wives, where we have productive children who live in a meaningful relationship with mother and father, not this broken family situation. We already know what that looks like. We already know what that looks like. Many of us have already experienced it. We know what that looks like. We know what that looks like. So it's not strange to us what that looks like. But we have forces in place right now that are fighting to keep these kind of talking points from being said in social media. Why? Because foolishness is always accepted. I said to you earlier in many different streams, buffoonery is at an all-time high. How stupid can you be? How foolish can you be? And what can you promote that's counterproductive to the outcomes in your own personal community? And that goes for anybody who either decides to grab a hold of the talking point or for those that decides to dismiss. It doesn't matter. The outcomes will remain if we don't wake up. If we don't wake up, ladies, for you as well, if you don't realize the value of the men that you have in your community, I'm not talking about the six-figure income earner. No, I told you in many other streams, social media made you believe you didn't have to value the 85%. But I'm going to tell you something about the 85%. The 85% of black men in this country make between $41,000 and $42,500. You know, if you're catching convulsions over that, that means you have a problem. You have a problem, and you've sold yourself out to social media and the television and all the sitcoms and series that we see. That's what you've done. But 85% of the black men in your community where you live, we're talking about good men who work hard, who want to take care of you with what they have, and they make $41,000 a year at minimum, $42,500 at maximum. No, not for you to think you can get with them and fix them. I'll get with them if they have aspirations to get to a higher income. No, they don't need you as a medical doctor. Can you accept a man who makes $41,000 to $42,500? Can you accept that man who's going to be good to you? Can you get rid of the noise that's in your head, that social media has put in your head, and that television has put in your head, and that series and movies like Power and all these other movies have put in your head? Can you remove the noise that's been put in your head so that you can pay attention to the good men that's right in your own community that want you? But they already know. They've already paid attention to your behavior. They've already paid attention to your attitude. They know that you're watching TV. They know that you're watching videos, and they also know, painfully, they know that you don't want them. Can you get rid of the noise of all of those who think they are winning? Because I'm going to tell you something, ladies. The ones that think they're winning, they're husbandless. Yeah. The ones that think they're winning, they have a high body count. We're going to talk about that. The ones that think they're winning, they have no prospects. There's no man looking for them. There's no one looking for them except to take them to the bedroom. I'm going to say it straight. There's no one looking for them. Those that make you believe they're winning, whether it's in videos or those that make you believe it in series, and rather those that make you believe it in entertainment, rap, R&B. You can't look at the anecdotal situations. What am I talking about when I talk about anecdotes? Anecdotal situations are those like a Sierra who met a Russell Wilson. See, seeing something like that for you ladies that have children by someone else, you think you can fall into the shoes of a Sierra. Stop it. What about all the men that's right around you that are willing to take on the responsibility of not just taking care of you, and not just loving you, and not just providing for you, and taking care of a child that does not belong to them? What about them while you look elsewhere, while your mind takes you to a place that you don't even qualify for? What is wrong with us? We're so silly. That's because we sold ourselves out, and we sold our mind, and we sold our soul out to the noise of those that think they're winning. OnlyFans, Instagram models. And I'm talking to some young sisters. You really believe that when you put those little eyelashes on your eyes that men like that? No, I'm going to tell you straight up, and I'm going to tell you straight with no chaser. We hate it. It's ugly. We do not like it. We don't like your little Betty Boop eyelashes. No, we don't. I'm sorry. We don't like it. And we don't like your weave all the way down to your hip line. We don't like that either. And we don't like your BBLs. We don't like that either. And we don't like all your loud makeup. We don't like that either. And we don't like your tattoos all over your body. We don't like that either. You want me to keep going? And we don't like your long vulture nails that you have. We don't like that either, because we know you ain't going to cook, and we know you ain't going to wash no damn dishes. We know that also. We want fit, feminine, friendly, cooperative, easy to get along with. That's what men want. Let me tell you something, ladies. You are not going to get the outcomes that you want by watching social media. Can you avoid the noise of those who think that they're winning by watching TV, videos, and all the things that you watch and pay attention to, and you think that defines what a man wants? It's not what he wants. It's not what he wants. He's never wanted that. But you got 85%. Ladies, you got 85% of black men in your community. Whatever state, whatever town, whatever community you live in, 85% make between $41,000 to $42,500. I'm not telling you that's all they're going to make. I'm just letting you know, to level set you, that that's the average. Can you live with a man? Will you accept a man who makes only $42,500 a year? Will you accept that man if he's willing to be committed to you? Will you do that? Even, and I gotta say this, even if you make 5 or 10,000 more than he has, 5 or 10,000 more than he has, can you give him the same level of respect? Will you do that? Are you capable of doing that? If you find one like that, only you can answer that question. Only you can answer that question. Or, if you do accept one like that, and you marry him, and he finds himself on hard times, like a lot of black men find themselves. Meaning they may get a job, but they may lose it, and they may get another job, and they may lose it, and they may get another job, and they lose it. Okay, all right, let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. Is your decision to walk away from relationship based on the fact that he's an under earner? Only you know that, because some of you have walked away from relationships for that very reason. He's an under earner. He doesn't make enough. Now, for some of you that have bought a home together, say you had you were fortunate to buy a home together, and you bought a home. Okay, so you bought a home together. Congratulations. Now, once you buy the home together, who are you talking to after you purchase the home? Because I know what you do. You go to all your friends who are either single or married who own homes or who are looking to buy a home, and you want to tell them about the home you just bought. All right, let's go there. Let's go there. What is the conversation that you're having at that point? When your man is going through the trials and tribulations of employment, I'm not talking about the bum who sits on the couch and plays Nintendo all day while you go to work. No, I'm not talking about him. If you picked that one, then that was your choice also. So I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about Pookie, Ray Ray, and Nug Nug. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the man who just runs through the same run-of-the-mill trials and tribulations that most black men run through, that are not six-figure income earners, but who fit into the 85%. I'm talking about that black man who's a good black man. I'm talking about that one, the one you always turn your back on, the one you won't pay attention to. He works at your job. He works right next to you at your job. I'm talking about that brother. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking about that one. If you get a house and you are fortunate enough to get a house, you start telling your friends, as you should, who wouldn't be happy, who wouldn't want to share the success of buying a home, who would not want to share that? Everybody would want to share that, including us. We'd want to share it also. But the trials and tribulations of life hit your relationship, as it does all of us. Every relationship has its own set of dynamics, including yours. You don't have a perfect relationship. Stop acting like you got a perfect relationship. You don't have a perfect relationship. Your relationship has the same dynamics that every relationship has. Some worse, some better, some in the middle, whatever. Tell your own story. But every relationship has its own set of dynamics. So you buy your house and you're happy. You want to share that experience with someone. You share it with someone who you believe has your best interests at heart. You share it with someone who you believe is going to be happy about your success in purchasing the home with your husband. Yeah. But what you don't know is that they're jealous. What you don't know is that they're envious. What you don't know is that they never wanted you to succeed beyond where they were. But this has been your friend for years. And see, this is the problem that a lot of you ladies have. You get into a relationship and you're married and you still hold on to your single girlfriends. And that's a whole nother talking point. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick with what I'm talking about in terms of the home. You just purchased a home, right? Now in that home, it requires more responsibility from yourself, financially, and your husband. You knew when you met your husband he wasn't rich. You knew and he knew you weren't rich either. I just told you. The average income of a black man in this country is $41,000 to $42,500. The average income of a black woman in this country is from $31,000 to $32,500. And 72% of every black woman in this country either works full-time or part-time. 72%. Now, I know you know how close 72% is to 100%, right? So why is it that so many are walking away from the 85%? Why is that? For what reasons? Why? Some of you ladies are in long-term relationships. long-term relationships. You're not necessarily married, but you're in long-term relationships, and you're still ready to walk away as if you have options. Why do you think that you have options after giving birth to children from the same man that you're ready to walk away from? Exactly. Please tell me, how is it that you believe your options have increased because after giving birth to children from a man that you chose to walk away from? And if you stayed with him 10 years, here's what your story is. Oh, he cheated. Here's the question I have for you. If he cheated, did he cheat in the 9th year? Or did he cheat in the 10th year? Either way it goes, you got some explaining to do. You got some explaining to do. Because here's the thing. If he cheated and you left him in the 9th year, then what happened in the 8 years that you were with him? If he cheated in the 10th year, what happened in the 9 years you were with him? What happened? Did you just figure out? After giving him 2, maybe 3 children? Was it more about how you felt, or was it more about how you believed your children would feel if you put them out the front door? Can you avoid the noise? Can you avoid the noise of those that think? And I said think. Thinking comes from not knowing. Thinking comes from not knowing. Can you avoid the noise from those that think they are winning? To throw away your whole relationship, to throw away your whole marriage, for what? For what? Some of y'all ladies are running away from relationships because of money. You knew he was an under-earner when you met him. Like I said earlier, you knew he was an under-earner when you met him. You knew it. At what point will it take for you ladies to look at the value of having a man in the home with you, where it doesn't determine money? What if you ladies turned yourself into modern day prostitutes? That the only way value is made with the man you're with is if money is involved? That sounds to me like a prostitute. I know some of y'all triggered by me saying that. I don't care. Because 85% of all of our women in our black community are divorced. 85% of that same number are filing for divorce. It's not men walking away from their relationship, so get mad. And it's not 85% of those walking away from engagements. 85% of black women are calling off all engagements once they are engaged. You don't like what I'm saying? Start a podcast and tell us what it means. You don't like what I'm saying? Start a stream and tell us what it means. I can tell you what it means. It tells me that you ladies are not willing to fight for your own relationship. You want to let your relationship go to hell, and you don't want to fight for the men that you gave children to. You gave children to a man, and then you talk about him like he's a dog. Can you avoid the noise of those who think they're winning? Or do you think you're winning? And maybe that's why your ears are blocked. Do you think you're winning? Maybe that's why your ears are blocked, because you think you're winning with your decisions. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. And I will tell you this. For some of you ladies that have daughters, if you don't get what I'm saying, you don't have to. But I will tell you this. Whoever you are today, all you're doing is reproducing yourself in your daughters. You're reproducing yourself in your daughters. And I'm going to say this also before I close. Stop dogging your children's father. Shut your toxic, poisonous mouth. Shut up. Because here's what you're doing. If you have daughters, the only man that they're going to pattern themselves towards who they desire to be their husband is going to be the same man who's their father. How you talk about them, you're creating a program like a computer in their brain. And whether they display that program in front of you while they're in front of you in the same house, that matters not. What will really matter is the program coming to the forefront once they're on their own. They're going to look for the same man that you had. The same man, according to description, that you described if it was their father. Some of you ladies, you act as if your daughters have to bear the responsibility and the pain of your failed decisions. You think your daughters are supposed to bear the weight of your failed decisions. Because you just need somebody to talk to, right? You need somebody to talk to. And if the only one present is your daughter, I guess you'll just dump on her. You'll just dump all the manure of yourself on your daughter, really. And you want her to get the right outcomes. If you care about your daughter, shut your mouth. If you care about your daughter, be quiet. No matter what happened between you and your children's father, learn to discipline yourself and be quiet. You don't have to like me saying it, but I promise you the talking points are here. You don't have to like me saying it, but if you can't discipline yourself, you're setting your daughters up. You're setting your granddaughters up to become just like you, a poison, toxic waste dump site where they won't have the outcomes. They won't be able to get a husband, I'm sorry. They won't be able to get a husband. They won't have the necessary personality and characteristics to even attract a husband because they'll be a carbon copy of you. Ladies, discipline yourself. Humble yourself. Every decision we make, whether it's male or female, but I'm talking to you tonight. Every decision you have made, it had nothing to do with your children. It had nothing to do with your sons. It had nothing to do with anyone that you spill the manure of your pain and the manure of your disappointment, the manure, the waste of your bad decisions. It has nothing to do with the people that you pour it on. Like I always say in my streams, ladies, get therapy. Get therapy, which is the most stigmatized thing in the black community. We always think therapy means something's wrong with you psychologically. You know what? Whatever gets you to the therapy, whatever gets you to the therapy, you know, it doesn't mean something's like you psycho. It doesn't mean that. But all of us, male and female, we need therapy. We need some help. And ladies, be willing to admit that you do before you get into a relationship. Be willing to admit that you do before you have a child. Be willing to admit that you do after you sabotage and destroy your own home because of the lack of therapy. Some of you have let some good men go, and they're remarried right now, and you know it. And today you get to revisit yourself, and you know you could have did something better to fight for your own relationship, for your own marriage. And instead of fighting your ego, your attitude, your behavior, your arrogance, your masculinity, all of that stood in the way. And as a result of that standing in the way, your children grew up without their father, and you know you could have did something better. Why is it that you ladies are so willing to fight for things that don't benefit you? There's very few things that you'll fight with your man for, but there's a whole lot of things that you'll fight against your man about. We have to change the dynamics. Pay attention as you continue going forward in the next few weeks in watching these series and these television programs that I spoke of and that I mentioned, and some that I didn't mention because I couldn't remember the title, but you know what they are. You know what you're watching. Pay attention to what you're watching and see if what you're watching falls into sync with what I'm talking about tonight. And see if you realize that you have become victim of the talking points. Can you, will you, are you willing to avoid the noise? The noise, and it's loud. It's loud. It's loud in your ears. It's loud in your granddaughter's ears. It's loud in your niece's ears. It's loud in your mama's ears. Because she's giving you advice too, and she's single. Stop listening to her too. Your single auntie, it's loud in her ears, and she's giving you advice. Stop listening to her too. And all your single French toast friends that you have, stop listening to them too. It's loud in their ears also. Pay attention to what's being put on television, and I want you to tell yourself, are these programs designed to bring us as a people back together as a family, a meaningful married family where children have productive, secure lifestyles? I know what it has done, and so do you. It's broken us apart. It's broken us apart. We're fragmented. We're like dust. We're like dust. And many of you know that I'm right about what I'm saying, because you're a victim of what I'm saying. You're a victim of what I'm saying. Like so many of us are a victim of what I'm saying. This is Let's Talk About It. And the purpose of my stream is to speak on talking points that I believe passionately will help us change the narrative. That's it. It's not about twerking. It's not about stupidity. It's not about ignorance. It's not about the things that we love to entertain the most. Like you've heard me say, buffoonery is at an all-time high. You know, I could do something else and I would get a lot more support. But I'm going to tell you this, I'm willing to do what I'm doing because I care about it. And you need to care about it as well, or face the consequences. You've heard me say on many different streams, 1 in 4 in our community will marry. That means 3 will die alone. It doesn't matter whether you agree. It doesn't matter whether you like me saying it. It is the data. It is the statistics. It is the facts. 2 plus 2 still is 4. You decide whether you want to accept the 2 or the 4. Math will remain the same regardless of what you say. And we have to do something to change the narrative. We have to do something to change the narrative. We can watch in our community no matter where we are. It's not productive. You know it's not. In your own city where you live, you know it's not productive. You know it's not. Why keep fighting the information? Why keep fighting it when it's happening within your own family? And you know it's happening within your own family, your own cousins, your own aunties, your own uncles, your own relatives. You know that what I'm saying is happening within your own family. Why are you fighting? Why? Why are you fighting with what you know is a fact? Because you see it right before your eyes. I don't have to give you any facts. I don't have to give you any data. I don't have to give you any statistics. If I were to talk to you without any percentages and just talk straight, you would still know that what I'm saying is 100% accurate because you live it. You live it. I don't know you. I don't live in your house, but you do. I don't know your family members, but you do. I don't know your aunties, but you do. I don't know your mother, but you do. I don't know your father, but you do. I don't know your friends that you associate with, but you do. You do. And you know that what I'm saying is 100% accurate. Do we want difference in our community? Or do we want to stay on the sideline boxing with boxing gloves on our hands? Is that what we want to do? Do we want to stay on the sidelines giving insult, shame, and the need to be right? Is that what we want to do? Is that what we want to do and expect a different result? Well, we'll get the same result. In fact, it'll get worse. It will get worse. I promise you that. It will get worse. It's not going to get better if we don't get better. These talking points, ladies, are not meant to hurt you. Even if you don't like the way I say it, even if you don't like how I say it, I promise you this. I truly and sincerely care about what happens with us as a community, and more importantly, I care about you, ladies, getting the results that you say you want. But I want to level set us so that we can get the results we want and not be unrealistic. You got 85% of black men in your community, and you know what I said in the middle of the stream. They want you, but most of you ladies don't want us, you know, and that's unfortunate. But we're still here, and you're still here. We are better together than we are apart, and we just are. Believe it today, believe it tomorrow, or believe it when it's too late. I'm your host, Charles Chambliss. I thank you all for getting on the stream. I truly do. I hope that something I said meant enough for you that you can get outside of your feelings and realize that you don't know anybody on Facebook talking the way I talk. That you can get outside of your feelings, hear what I'm saying, and let's work together. Again, my name is Charles Chambliss. I'm the host of Let's Talk About It. I thank you all for getting on the stream. Love you. I want to see the best outcomes for all of us. And with that being said, I am out. Have a good night, folks. I look forward to seeing you Saturday.